The Bible tells us that without faith it is impossible to please God. In the Gospels, many people responded to Jesus with great faith. He often answered their faith with the words, "Your faith has made you well." But what about those of us who have doubts? Thomas was a disciple of our Lord. He had seen many of our Lord's miracles and heard his great teachings, but Thomas was a pessimist. He never really expected things to turn out well. Once, when Jesus told his disciples that he was planning to travel to Bethany, he was warned that it might be dangerous to go there. But Jesus insisted, and Thomas replied, "Let's go with him so that we may die there also." It seems that Thomas struggled to see the brighter side of life. Later, after the Lord's crucifixion, some of the Lord's disciples began to tell stories of Jesus' resurrection, but this was just too much for Thomas. He had serious doubts. He just couldn't bring himself to believe these fantastic stories. At one point he told his friends, "I will not believe until I see him and I put my finger in the holes in his hand and my hand in his side." For Thomas, seeing is believing. Many of us have faced too many disappointments and have too many doubts to have faith. But Jesus has a way of showing up and proving himself. One day, when Thomas was with the disciples, Jesus appeared before him and Thomas fell on his knees and cried out, "My Lord and my God." Thomas's doubts and fears were overcome by the Lord's presence. When we find ourselves filled with doubt, like Thomas, we must surround ourselves with people of faith and give the Lord an opportunity to be present before us. Jesus will prove faithful, and his presence will cause us to overcome our doubts. This is Dan Tomberlin.